Review, my man. So this is Michael. He is the co-owner of Quarters Arcade Bar, the best bar in Utah. It's also where we hold
maybe the world,
maybe the world, quite possibly the universe. And this is it's where we hold Barfights. But as you know, right now there's this pandemic killing all the humans, so we can't be playing in a bar right now. So he's gonna do a cool cocktail tutorial for y'all while I put up his social media information. So I'm gonna go on mute and let him take over. If you've got alcohol with you, mix along. Here we go.
Do I have a time limit, Thomas? Do you want me to talk for a long time,
like 10 minutes at the most? If you need to go longer, just let me know.
Sweet. I don't need to talk any longer than you want me to talk. So I'm gonna tilt the cam down because my face is less important than the cocktails.
Perfect.
All right, guys. So we're talking about old fashions today. So a lot of people know the old fashioned as as its original drink, which is bourbon, Angostura bitters, bourbon, Angostura. Oh, it's in my fridge. I forgot. Simple syrup. Simple syrup is the thing you make. It's really easy to make. Equal parts water and sugar. Bring the water to a simmer, take it off the heat, add the sugar, stir, and then it'll cool down, and it saves for a really long time because it's made out of sugar and water. So this is a good thing to just have in your fridge. We just keep some of it around because it's used in a lot of different cocktails. It's super easy to make. Everyone has water, everyone has sugar. Angostura is the original bitters and the most common used bitters in cocktails. So buying a bottle of this is worth having around because you will use it. And then, Juniper, quiet, go to bed. My dog is barking, sorry. Angostura is this, like a bottle like this size will last you, like even me who actually uses this stuff quite a bit, lasts me a long time, like a year, unless you start popping the cap off and taking shots of it, which people do because it is like 50% alcohol. And then bourbon, whiskey. I'm not going to explain what bourbon is. It's whiskey. You can use other things. We'll do this one first because this is the original, the classic, and then we'll do a variation, just so that you can see that like this style of cocktail can be translated to whatever your favorite spirit is. If you're a tequila drinker, you can make a tequila old fashioned. If you're a rum drinker, you can do a rum old fashioned. So, but this is the original. This is like the cocktail. What the word cocktail was invented to describe this drink. So, all right. The other thing that's nice about this cocktail is it's super simple. It's 3 ingredients. But depending on people's preferences, you change small things and you can make the cocktail exactly how you like it. Adding a little bit more or less sugar, a little bit more or less bitters. And then in general, you want to do 2 ounces of bourbon unless you're in Utah and you are not allowed to do that. You do 1.5 ounces in bourbon, and then like a lot of times we'll throw a 0.5 ounce of rye whiskey just to get that that level of booze where it should be. Another thing that's easy about this cocktail is that you build it in the glass. The style class of cocktails are called stirred down cocktails, which means you make it in the glass that you drink it out of. So a stirred up cocktail, you make in a different vessel, and then you put into like a martini glass. This is, we're gonna put Ango, sugar, and booze in here, and then we're gonna add ice, and we're gonna stir it, and then we're gonna enjoy it. So, yeah, let's do, so the OG, the original, this is how I make my old fashions, this is how I like them. But obviously, things change person to person, so it's all preference, and it's a great thing that you can fuck around with at home. You can be like, okay, I'm going to try it now with 2 dashes of bitters. I'm going to try it with 4 dashes of bitters and see what you like. I like my stuff a little bit more bitter, so I usually do more bitters. And And the idea between the bitters and the sugar is they kind of cancel each other out, give it some nice flavor, help bring out some of the bourbon flavor. But these things balance each other. You don't want too much sugar. You don't want too much bitters. You need both to make the drink happy. So proper dash, you just turn this bottle all the way upside down and you just give it some shakes, and then that would be a dash. So I'm going to do 4 of those. Off camera, of course, you didn't get to see it. But that's the Angostura on the glass now. And then I like mine not very sweet. Sometimes I'll do as little as a 1/4 ounce. I'm just gonna do 3/8 or a shy half. This is a jigger, by the way. This is another tool that is very inexpensive. It'll last forever, and it helps you measure volumes of liquids very easy. And then the bourbon. So I'm gonna do 2 ounces of bourbon because the DABC can't hold me down at home. So then you have all the ingredients. I'm sorry, Thomas, what?
That's right. You show the man.
Yeah, that's right. You can't tell me what to do. So you have everything in your cocktail. The 4th ingredient in any cocktail, or the most important ingredient in cocktails, is water. So like cooking, you can undercook and overcook a cocktail. And I tell people all the time that cocktails are just cooking with ice, right? So it's not about the volume of ice, it's about the contact of liquid with the ice. So I could fill this whole glass up if I wanted to. That would be fine. But depending on how long or short I stir it is the cooking part of it, right? Because you're moving around molecules that are being chilled, and also the warm molecules of the liquor are melting the ice. So I'm just gonna go grab a bunch of ice from my fridge. Again, the volume of ice doesn't really matter. In the bar, we'll use like standard ice, and we'll do we'll count our ice cubes. But a lot of that's about presentation. So, you know, if I filled this all the way up, all these ices wouldn't be submerged in the drink by the time I'm done with it, and it wouldn't look very good. So a lot of that's about presentation. But so you're giving it a stir. This is a bar spoon, another thing that's cheap and will last forever that you can pick up. If you don't have a bar spoon, you can use like a straw. And you're just giving a stir. Again, when your cocktail's just sitting there, warm liquid is touching cold ice, but then nothing's moving around. So parts of the warm liquid that aren't touching ice aren't getting cold. And also the ice cubes are gonna start melting slower. So this encourages melting and cooling. And we would call it diluting, not melting. But and then if you under and overcook a cocktail, that's under and over diluted. So you want to just give this a stir. I mean, another reason I wanted to go do old fashions with you guys is the thing about an old fashioned is, so this is probably undercooked right now, that amount of stirring, because it wasn't very vigorous and I didn't do it for very long. It's probably undercooked, and I could taste it and say, holy shit, all I can taste is bitters. Oh, I can't even taste the whiskey at all. Then I can come and stir it some more. If you had a stirred up drink or a shaken drink, you're pouring that drink out of the tin or out of its stirring vessel, and then you gotta hope, or in the bar we taste our cocktails to make sure they're on. But at home, it's easy to just be able to be like, oh, this tastes bad, I'll stir it a little bit more, because again, the most important ingredient in all cocktails is water. It's the difference between eating raw food and eating cooked food. It's getting a little better, but also I can leave this a little under diluted because if I'm going to drink this over the next 30 minutes, it's going to change over time, which is another thing I like about stirred down drinks. Yeah, I think I talked for about 10 minutes already. I'm just going to do, real quick, I'm going to do a different, and then you would twist orange peel on this, a lot of times served with a cherry as well. Those things are important. I don't have any oranges here. I have a grapefruit. I'm going to do a gin old fashioned for Katie just to prove the point that you can make old fashions with different different spirits. And I'm going to just do that really quick and I'm going to talk a lot less. So I usually do grapefruit bitters on my gin old fashions, but I couldn't find them. They're somewhere. We just moved, so they're somewhere in this house. But I just did 2 dashes of Ango. Gin's a more delicate spirit. You're gonna want less bitters because the bitters are gonna really dominate it. So just 2 little dashes, and then I'm gonna do a full 1/2 ounce of dry curacao. This is also like Cointreau is something you might be familiar with, or triple sec. Triple sec is like a really cheap, shitty version of this. But same thing. Something bitter, something sweet, and booze.
I love booze.
It's all booze, baby. Ah. And there are different old-fashioned recipes that are legit recipes, right? Like, so if you have a Oaxacan old-fashioned, that's a recipe that everyone agrees. You know, everyone's like, oh, this is how you make that drink because someone invented it at some bar and it became famous enough that we all learned what it was. So those things are things you can Google. You could Google old-fashioned variation. You could Google rum old-fashioned variation. And, you know, depending on the source, it would probably turn out pretty right. Imbibe is probably the best trusted source for cocktail recipes online. But GQ does a good job. A lot of people do a good job. And then this, it's delicious. I forgot to my Y peeler. Y peeler! Katie, where's the Y peeler? All right, so here's the last part. Again, I said that I like doing my gin old fashions with grapefruit bitters. I think gin and grapefruit go together really well. So we'll do a little grapefruit twist. You just take this is like a shitty $2 peeler. Just take a swath out of the fruit, and then skin side towards the cocktail, you're just going to give it a pinch, and all of the oils would, if we had like a high definition camera right now, you'd be able to see it. But all the oils come out, you can smell it instantly, and then you can drag that on the cocktail too, to get more of the oils on the rim of it. Point of it is to make it smell nice, and it does. But again, the fruit you're using this with is, think of it as a pairing with the cocktail, right? I know the grapefruit goes well with the gin, so I used a grapefruit twist. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Katie, come get your drink.
Man, thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So I dropped a link in chat. If y'all didn't see it, it's quarterslc.com. It's my favorite bar on the whole planet, whole universe. Best bar in America, guaranteed. They have lots of cool arcade games. Hopefully, we'll be back there drinking and playing fighting games eventually. Vampire, if you ever make it to Utah,
I am hoping that next fight night will happen at the bar, actually.
That would be the goal. We're hoping to have Barfights next in the bar. We're tentatively excited. And Yeah, support your local bars. Michael, man, thank you so much. Anything I'm missing to plug? I told people to go to your website and buy stuff. What other things should we plug?
Nothing really, man. You guys are awesome. We love having fight nights. Are like one of the best events every month. You guys are awesome people, and we miss you. And hopefully, we'll be back to hanging out soon.
Yeah, we miss you too, man. Oh, here's another pitch. Go play pinball.
Pinball.
Go watch the quarter streams. They do really cool pinball streams. Word, dude. Thank you so much. We'll get the tournament rolling. Godspeed, sir.
Yeah, good luck in the tourney.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Bye.